This week on Fields of Glory, we'll take you to State College, Pennsylvania, Happy Valley, USA, where the Nittany Lion fans are smiling again. And a rejuvenated Joe Paterno has Beaver Stadium rocking like never before. Coming up next on Fields of Glory. Nestled deep in the rolling hills of central Pennsylvania at the base of Mount Nittany lies State College and Penn State University. A classic small college town, peaceful and charming. State College explodes to life on game day as devoted fans flock in droves to Beaver Stadium for a healthy dose of Lion pride, administered by legendary head coach Joe Paterno and the Nittany Lions.
Just to come here, man, in the middle of nowhere. You're in the middle of nothing but mountains, man. You're in the middle of nowhere. And then here's this tremendous school and this beautiful little town. How can you beat that, man?
We are a small community, but people from all around the state and all around the Northeast find their way to Happy Valley for a great football Saturday, and it's just an incredible story.
Well, first of all, I've always been a great fan of Penn State University. When you look at the final academics, football, tradition, the place, the way it looks and beautiful, it's probably one of the best places in America to go to school.
And growing up in Western Pennsylvania, it's, a lot of football tradition there, and a lot of dreams of a lot of young little kids is to come play football for Penn State.
Yeah, because I've been hearing "We Are Penn State" since I could walk, really, or since I could hear, probably. It's almost like a code word. They'll say "We are," and if the person answers, you know they're a Penn Stater.
We are Penn State!
It's not to beat down somebody. It's to say, we are. Here's who we are. We are Penn State. We're something special.
It's not just the football team. It's everybody, the community, the fans. Everybody who's associated with Penn State is in that whole phrase.
We are Penn State! We are Penn State! Thank you!
The team means a lot to this state, as evidenced by the stadium we're standing in right now.
Second only to the Big House in Ann Arbor, Beaver Stadium currently seats just over 107,000 people. However, that capacity is not set in stone, evidenced by Beaver Stadium's many additions and renovations over the years.
Penn State first started to play football in 1887 on what is now Old Main Lawn. It literally was the lawn. And then in 1893, they built another field, and they called it Beaver Field. In 1909, they built a bigger field, and it's up near where the Rec Hall is now, and the Lion Shrine is there. And they played in that until the end of the 1990-59 season.
The stadium was then dismantled and moved from the west end of campus to its current location 1 mile east, and the capacity was increased to 46,000.
The parts of our stadium right now go all the way back to the 1920s and 30s, and I think that's what makes Beaver Stadium so unique, because not only did we enhance it, but we maintain a lot of the tradition and history of Penn State football.
Several renovations have seen the stadium grow in stages over the years to its current capacity, and further expansion has not been ruled out.
Really turned it into almost enclosed stadium. It's not quite enclosed yet. There's still room for a lot of improvement.
Now well into its second century on the gridiron, Penn State teams have totaled more than 760 victories.
There's a long list of great players come from Penn State.
Behind me are the names of all the Penn State football lettermen. It's very important to us because of the rich tradition here. All the guys that came before us, and they did a lot of great things for this program. We talk about guys like LeVar Arrington, guys that grew up around me.
Well, you can go back to the late 60s of Jack Ham, and Shane Conlon in the 80s led the 86 team to the national championship. This defense is built around Paul Posluszny, who Joe is now mentioning in the same breath as Conlon.
Just to be a part, of the history of Penn State, to be put along in the same group as the rest of those guys, it's definitely an honor to be a part of that group.
Some of the NFL's all-time greats are former Nittany Lions, and 5 of them are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, including Franco Harris, Jack Ham, and Lenny Moore. While John Cappelletti captured Penn State's only Heisman in 1973, 86 former Lions were named first-team All-America. Including its first football coach, George Hoskins, only 14 men have held the head position at Penn State, and only 2 since 1950. That was the year that Penn State lured Charles Rip Ingle from Brown. Ingle only brought 1 assistant with him to State College, his young quarterback coach, Joe Paterno. After 15 successful seasons, Ingle passed the reins on to Paterno. A legend was born.
When I got out of college, I had no intention of coaching. So Rip had got me a part-time job. In fact, I was his third choice. It wasn't like I jumped out at him. And I told him, I said, I may only coach a couple of years, Coach. I said, I'm not interested. And he saw me at Penn State, and State College was a great place to live.
I say Joe Paul, you say Turner! Joe Paul! Joe Paul!
When you say Joe Paterno, say Penn State.
Oh, Joe Paul, he's like my dad.
Joe Paterno, Penn State.
He's a legend. He's one of the reasons we're coming here. Without him, we probably wouldn't have anything to come here for.
Joe Paterno, Penn State, period.
Paterno's Penn State teams have won 75% of their games, capturing national titles twice in the 80s, and posting unbeaten seasons on 4 other occasions.
He's delivered national championships, undefeated seasons, exciting moments. They look down and there's a comfort of seeing Joe Paterno on that sideline.
He's an innovator. He definitely has changed the landscape of college football, and he's done, great things for this university.
Our alumni and our fan base is used to winning, and that's what they're used to having done, and they're used to winning with, they're used to success with honor and not compromising what Penn State's all about.
Still to come on Fields of Glory, the build-up to game day continues. Coach Paterno and the Blue Band ignite the crowd at a special Friday night pep rally, while the fans line up early for what's known as the greatest tailgate in the nation.
Welcome to the
Penn State University is known as one of the top engineering schools in the country. But when the school was founded in 1855, it was devoted to the study of agricultural science. That original mission lives on today at the Penn State Creamery.
How you doing? I'm Tim, student supervisor here at the University Creamery. We have 18 flavors that we dip every day. We have over 100 that we have in stock. We rotate them all the time, seasonally. Possibly the most popular flavor right now, Peachy Paterno, obviously namesake for the head football coach. All the machines behind me are in the process of pasteurizing all the milk that we get from our Penn State cows, and it goes into the hardening room. Now, whenever you go in here, I recommend using a winter coat because right now it's about -12 degrees, and it's usually not this crowded, but it's a football weekend versus Ohio State, so we expect lots of sales. We're a non-profit organization, so all our money gets fed back into the university and goes to Department of Agriculture and Department of Food Science.
Welcome to Paternal! Joe Paterno! Joe Paterno!
We want to be out here early. We want to be the first ones. So about Sunday around 4 o'clock, went and got our tents together, and by 6 o'clock, we were out here setting up camp. And it turned out pretty well. A lot of people followed us. I'm glad to see it went that way.
In all the years I've grown up here, there were always students that would camp out Friday night to get in the front row. But I drove home Sunday night, and I saw about 12 tents out there, and I thought about it. I said, they're here for the game next Saturday.
Let's head up to this maze of tents. We'll go check out our place here, the first tent in line.
That thing with those tents was, just, God almighty, raining like the dickens, and then out there in those tents, I'm saying, I walked away, I said to myself, God almighty, was I that crazy when I was a student?
Joe Paterno!
We were gonna come into what, Friday? We were like, yeah, I gotta get here sooner. Gotta get better seats.
We got a little refrigerator up here.
We had electric earlier in the week, but
there's milk in there.
Since the rain came, we had to unplug all the electric.
Free food? Where? All right.
I decided to bring these guys out some pizza, and I'm a Penn State alumni.
Yay for
We're hoping, if Penn State keeps on this roll, which is what we're really hoping to keep this going, camp out every game. That'd be really awesome if you could.
Thank you, Paternoville. Honestly, it was great. We loved it. The team loved it. It just shows how much support, and how much influence this football team still has.
Penn State joined the Big Ten in 1993, and it's always a big game when the Buckeyes come to town from neighboring Ohio. The pregame celebration for this game starts more than 24 hours before kickoff with a pep rally at Old Rec Hall.
We do them on special occasions, and I think that adds to the excitement of it. That wow, we're having a pep rally this week, and the fans are going to let's get there early and let's get the team going.
The Penn State cheerleaders and the marching band, known as the Blue Band, help set the tone. But before the team could make its entrance, no Penn State pep rally would be complete without a visit from the Lion.
There's a lot of tradition involved with being the Penn State mascot. There's only one mascot as compared to other Big Ten schools that have multiple mascots, and we do about 300 appearances in a school year. The best thing is probably running out to the 50-yard line at the beginning of the game and being able to control 110,000 people with just 2 arms. It's awesome. I can't even describe it. Yeah, I'm the only mascot that I know of that's actually allowed to crowd surf at games, and basically the students start the chant, "We want the Lion," and I'll pick whatever section of the student section I want to go to. I just run up, jump the railing, grab my tail so they don't rip it off, point up, and just float up to the top.
Once the Blue Band and the Lion have the crowd sufficiently stirred, Coach Paterno and the rest of the Nittany Lions make their entrance.
The pep rally is huge. It really helps motivate us before we go to sleep.
When we come back, game day in Happy Valley. With kickoff still hours away, the mother of all tailgates is merely a warm-up for a classic Big Ten battle when Fields of Glory continues. It's a known fact that college football fans in general love a good tailgate. Penn State tailgaters have apparently found a way to elevate their skills above the rest. Numerous recent polls have named Happy Valley the greatest place in America to tailgate.
We got 32-team beer pong tournament going. Biggest tailgate of the year. 7:45 game, start at 12:30. We got rules, we got time limits, we got our brackets over there. Make them proud. We took the format of the NCAA tournament, and we went 32 teams. We have a set of rules and an entry form that teams have filled out throughout the day. We had qualifying during the morning. Here's a copy of the rules sheet. And the winners get these lovely trophies. So it's a pretty big event. Too bad the weather didn't hold up, but
I marvel at where do all these people come from. Yeah, it's the third largest city in the state of Pennsylvania on a home football weekend. I've had the opportunity to travel around the country and to see some of the other great venues, but I don't think anyone has the combination of the great facility that we have in Beaver Stadium and then also the tailgating and the fan experience around it.
Well, I think it's the people who come to the game. I think people come back here and they walk up to the stadium. You can see the tailgating and all over the place. They visit with friends. It's such a wonderful setting. There are very few stadiums that are set out there, where you can look out and see cows.
The scene inside the locker room prior to kickoff is all business. Equipment managers setting out those classic blue and white jerseys, making sure that every face mask is straight and every cleat shines like new.
The uniforms are just, that's just symbolic of the fact that we'd like Penn State people to know. When they turn on television and they say, hey, look at those lousy-looking uniforms, it's got to be Penn State.
They're the best uniforms in college football.
The plain white helmets, the plain blue jerseys, the white pants, and the white socks, and the plain black shoes. It's, putting on your business uniform, your hard hat, and your lunchbox and going to work.
No name on the back. We have no individuals in this team. Everybody looks the same.
The locker room has its own set of traditions. If you step on the S, you owe at least 10 push-ups. And if a manager shines Coach Paterno's shoes and the Lions win, it's his job until they lose. Penn State's players arrive at the locker room inside the football building a few hours before game time, grab their jerseys and pads, and then board a caravan of old blue school buses for the final trip through the thousands of tailgaters to Beaver Stadium.
Once those engines get started and you start making that road trip down towards the stadium, you start getting jitters, you start seeing people's signs, then you start getting the juices flowing and you get excited for what's getting ready to happen in the stadium.
There's so many people line the streets when we take the bus over there, and I sometimes I get into a bus and I'm not quite sure, how we're going to be, whether we're ready to play a big game. And then the enthusiasm of the people saying, hey, yelling and screaming, and I think that picks up all of us.
The starting quarterback gets to sit right next to Coach Paterno and lead the team off the bus, and it means a lot. Your quarterback is in a natural position of leadership, and it just tells everybody that he's the man, he's going to be the guy leading us to a victory, and it just means a lot to me.
Fans are there, cheering you on as you walk into the locker room, and then once you go in there before the game and put your stuff on and walk out the tunnel, that's something that can't be duplicated.
And then, Joe stands in the front of the tunnel and leads us out to, an amazing stadium.
When you walk in that stadium, it's literally like being in the eye of a hurricane.
We've seen a lot of big games here at Beaver Stadium. National championship years, undefeated seasons. People have been hoping to get back to those glory days.
Everybody here is really hungry, to restore what Penn State football has been.
It's a lot of fun, a lot of atmosphere. Yeah, there's no question. This is college football right here. This is what it's all about.
All the build-up and hype for this game was warranted, and the drama on the field exceeded all expectations.
I never doubted it for a second. This team, we worked hard. We've been through some tough seasons.
Now, we're just trying to change things around and bring things back the way they used to be.
I think he's been rejuvenated by the fact that this team has really kind of responded to the challenges.
In trouble, gets away, now chased by Puslosny, and down he goes!
I definitely came in as a 18-year-old, snotty-nosed boy. I'm definitely going to be leaving here as a 23-year-old man.
Robinson, option play near side, to the goal line, Michael Robinson, touchdown, Penn State!
We're going to try and make sure that we finish on top.
Intercepted! Lowry 15, 10 to the 5, and upended inside the 5 at the 2-yard line. The Nittany Lions on the doorstep.
I think we have to make us a good football team. I really do. I'm having a lot of fun with these kids. I really am.
Williams gets the toss behind Richardson to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Penn State! Smith back to pass. Pressure! Down he goes! Tom Holly fumbles the football. Penn State recovers. Scott Paxson. The Nittany Lion defense comes up with the signature play of this game. And the inning is over. The Nittany Lions have knocked off number 6 Ohio State and are now 6-0 in the season as they storm the field at Beaver Stadium.
Penn State football is for real, baby, and it is back.
For Fields of Glory, I'm Brent Musburger.